Naraka Bladepoint is almost done rolling out the character reworks that reduce every hero's number of skills and ultimates from 3 down to just 2 of each ability. The last 2 remaining characters that are due for a rework are Takeda and Akos, and they are likely to both have their reworks live within the next season or 2. But today's video will focus on Temulch, since he's just gotten his ability rework, so let's get into the changes to the Sandman and see all his new capabilities. The devs have stated that Temulch's performance overall is pretty solid, but his ability choices have been really rigid, so this rework aims to give him more versatility while trying to maintain his current balance. Temulch's old 3rd skill and 2nd ultimate have both been removed. This was the Bouncing Wisp, and I'm not sure any Temulch players will be sad to see this one go. It's one of the most useless and unpopular skills in the game's history. I've never seen a single player use that ability in game. They also removed his ultimate that gave him increased stamina recovery inside his ultimate tornado area, but they've integrated increased stamina recovery into both of his new ultimates and added some extra capabilities to them that we'll go over later in the video. For now, let's look at his F skills. Temulch's first skill is Zephyr Wisp, which has seen no changes as a result of this rework. This skill can be used well under attack, and activating it creates 3 wind balls around Temulch that last for 30 seconds. These wind balls are consumed one at a time for blocking incoming range shots, or all can be consumed at once to launch a wind ball in any direction. The wind ball can travel up to 35 meters, and this ability is tied for the shortest cooldown in the game at only 18 seconds. A defensive ability with an 18-second cooldown that repositions you with gold focus, gives you protection from range attacks, and gives access to an ability that can apply CC or extend combos, which you have 30 seconds to freely use, is kind of insane. I was hoping they would increase his F skill cooldown a bit, since it seems to have such high versatility. It actually doesn't make sense to me for it to be on an 18-second cooldown. This Wisp will only CC enemies if they are not in any focused state, so simply charging blue is a counter to a Temulch Wisp. The Wisp can also be used to extend combos, but only if it is already active when you start comboing. You can't Temulch F mid-combo and get a Wisp on the enemy. Next up we have Temulch's 2nd skill, Zephyr Wisp Track. This one is very similar to his first skill, but instead of flying directly in the aimed direction, this one will automatically change direction to seek out nearby enemies. They removed the Bounce Wisp, which is cool, but I never saw anyone use that skill in game. So honestly, I think they could have done something with it to make it better or more interesting. Instead, they took the route of keeping the Tracking Wisp, which is honestly just a worse version of F1, since it moves slower and is relatively easy to avoid by watching it and timing your focus charge and dodge. I recommend against using this skill unless you just can't aim your F1 very well. Moving on to his new ultimates, first we have Storm Prison. This is where the rework really starts to get interesting. Activating the ultimate gives instant gold focus, and Temulch leaps forward and drops a giant tornado on the ground where he lands. Any enemies inside the tornado are immediately drained of all stamina and affected by a slower stamina recharge rate. This debuff lasts 8 seconds and is reapplied every time an enemy passes through the wind wall. The tornado acts as a line of sight blocker for targeted skills, so for example, Karumi cannot tether a teammate on the other side of a wind wall, and Matari can't backstab an enemy on the other side. This is really useful against most pseudo-transformation ultimates in the game, like Keeling and Akos, since they are still heavily affected by the wind wall's debuff and CC when trying to pass through. Unlike full transformation ultimates like Enor, Yushan, and Monk, who can all walk through the tornado as much as they like without suffering from the movement slowing effect. However, they're still unable to pass any projectiles through the walls of the tornado, making Temulch's ultimate very effective at dealing with Monk's ranged grabs. While inside the tornado, Temulch can ride the winds after a double jump, allowing him to use a dash attack mid-air. This dash attack can start a combo and can also be charged to unleash a gold focus attack with knockback that can be parried. Countering this way doesn't reward a parry follow-up attack, it just staggers Temulch if you parry it. Charging the dash can be cancelled with a jump, and can lead into another charge. The dash attack can also be activated on the outside of the wind wall if you're close enough to it. Temulch's 2nd ultimate is Storm Prison Reload, his old 3rd ultimate. It's called Reload because every time Temulch passes through the wind wall, he gains 3 wind ball charges around him and can activate his F skill to throw a wisp. The only change they made to this ability was adding extra stamina recovery for Temulch while he's inside the tornado. This version has always been a fan favorite, especially for Temulch in solos, since this is capable of dealing so much damage with a long looping combo, but this tornado only lasts 12 seconds, so make sure to make the most of it. Here are a few ways you can loop your combo with F1v2. For solos, Temulch will likely want to take F1v2, not only for the combos we just went over, but the mid-air dashes of V1 can be easy to deal with in a 1v1 situation. For team modes, Temulch will likely want to take F1v1 since first ultimate lasts longer and gives him access to the mid-air dash attacks, which can help his team deal with the enemies inside the tornado. And with that, you now have everything you need to succeed with Temulch after his brand new rework. If you found this guide helpful, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future Naraka news. Also leave a comment about which rework you want to see next between Takeda and Akos. I hope you enjoyed this video, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.